What do you think is one of the most embarrassing phrases to admit within a group? What do you think it is? It's one of the most embarrassing phrases that most people tend to avoid. What do you think? You know what I think? I think it's this. Yeah, it's this. How many people do you know admit this? How many? Yeah, some people do. Some people do. And I actually have respect for people who do, because it means that they are letting you know that they don't know it all. And they're not afraid to let you know that they don't know it all. Okay. So why would that be embarrassing? Or why would this be embarrassing? I don't know. Why? Is it because it's a sign of weakness? Is that what it is within a group with your coworkers or wherever? Is it a sign that you are weak? Is it a sign that you are incompetent? I say that admitting that you don't know something is not the issue. No, not at all. Admitting that you don't know something and then never doing anything about it is the issue. Okay, as we understand it within the human experience, we get one free trial, okay, in this body, in your body, one free trial. And as we understand it, you can't know everything. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But as we understand it, it can't be done. So then what's the goal? I say the goal is to reduce the amount of I don't knows in your lifetime. To reduce the amount of I don't knows in your lifetime. If you can do that, that would be interesting. How can that be done? Well, there's a plethora of different ways, but one way is to get a mentor or mentors, plural. Get some people who are older than you, who are well versed in that particular subject or profession. Pick their brain, ask a lot of questions. Your elders, that's always a great tool. Most people don't use their elders, or do they? Actually, they do. Some people don't use their elders. You know, there's some people who have no respect for their elders at all. But talking to them and picking their brain and asking questions, having someone that you can associate with that will fill you up with information, and you go fact check that and then add your own research to it. And there you go. You come to some conclusions that way, and then you figure out how to apply. So that's one way. And if you don't have access to that, what would be another? Well, there's this wonderful thing called YouTube, where you can go and look up some videos and go on a binge watch of many different videos about that subject and just become inundated with all of this information. You know, I think of when I was trying to learn how to edit. Of course, I'm not an editor. I am not a master editor by no stretch of the imagination. But upon deciding to work on a project, I said, well, I don't know how to edit. I don't have access to an editor, and that may be costly. So could I tackle this? Is this something that I could learn how to do? Let me see. Let me see. And so I go on YouTube, look up a bunch of videos, and there you go. And most people do that now, especially content creators. You understand me. So there's that. And then, of course, there's the underrated form of reducing the I don't knows. Something that my mother always used to say is, she used to say, if you want to know something, read. So there's the other. Now, I'm not an avid reader. In fact, I write more than I read. Make that make sense. But yes, I am not an avid reader. But back in 2007, I wanted to write a script, and I didn't know how to write a script. Didn't take any classes in school, although I could have. But I said, you know what? What if I just went and got a book on this? I go to Barnes and Noble. Remember those? Barnes and Noble. And I got the Screenwriter's Bible by David Trottier. Yes, or Trottier. I can't pronounce his last name. Good man. Thank you very much. And yes, learned a lot. Very helpful. Okay. And by the way, this at the time, or up to this point, thickest book that I've ever read front to back. Now, some of you might look at this and say, really, that's potato chip crumbs compared to what I do. More power to you. But again, not an avid reader. But that was easy because it's something that I'm interested in. Most people look at things that they're interested in, right? How many things are you interested in? You dive deep into that. versus the things that you have absolutely no interest in at all. Therein lies the challenge, because if you don't look into the things that you're not interested in, wouldn't that be limiting yourself to the amount of I don't knows that you reduce? Because then there's a whole chunk of I don't knows that are still out there in the cosmos. And the goal is to do what? Reduce the amount of I don't knows in your lifetime. So then last year, I got hit with a different kind of bug where I'm looking at something that I absolutely have no familiarity with, just not privy to this stuff, the Federal Reserve, or I should say politics and economics. So I go out and get this and have been diving in. Now, this would be, once I finish this, I don't know how long it's going to take me, but this will be the thickest book that I've ever read. Okay. Like I said, for some of you, this is nothing. Okay. But it's something that I have to rework my brain, especially at age 45. It's a lot more of a challenge because you're older and you're set in your ways. You got to rewire your brain in order to suck in this information, consume it all and then do research. And then you might even have to change your method where you're reading a page a day and you're taking notes, writing down words that you don't know. Why do I say all of this? What is the point to this, Armond? Well, the point is, when you reduce the amount of I don't knows using some of the methods that I just mentioned, you begin to develop something really awesome, and I'll just call it conversation ammunition. Conversation ammunition. It's when you can go into different spaces of different groups and be able to give your input into the conversation. And your input may be about 25, 30%, 40%, 50%. Depends on how much extensive research you've done, but you're able to offer something to that conversation no matter what the topic is, no matter what the type of group it is, whether it's corporate, whether it's street, whether it's the medical field, law, politics, business, therapy, whatever it is, you're able to give your input, and your input is very cohesive and it's full. You're able to present some full ideas. And so from having this conversation ammunition, being able to go in any space and talk to any type of person, you begin to develop rapport with people. And these rapport began to be cultivated over time. All these different rapport. You're adding value into these spaces. All of the value you're giving, even though your knowledge is 25%. Because again, it might be something that you're not even interested in, but you're able to give that 25%. And that 25% may feel like 75% based on the level of enthusiasm that you add to the discussion. Okay. And then you go back and do more research, and then you can add 45%. Whatever the case may be, you're building a rapport in these spaces. You're adding value. And so then with the value comes favors. Favors, opportunities, hookups. Yeah. I remember there was a time me and my boy Chris, we used to go in these spaces and we would have these very cool conversations with this one server. I won't say where, just to keep things on the low. And he would hook us up with a free meal, just based on the conversation alone. You just never know what that rapport and conversation ammunition and value will do for you. Give you an opportunity, give you a hookup, give you a referral, right? Which leads to one of the biggest parts of all of this, respect. Yeah, respect. So then you transform from a place of being tolerated to a place of being respected, right? When you speak, people listen. When you speak, they take heed of your words. When you speak, they apply some of the things that you mention to their own life, and then they come back and they tell you about it. Maybe you transform their life. They respect you. You become a template for others. That's your deed. That's your service. Respect. People want to follow your lead. People actually respect your decisions. They look at how you move. They look at how you conduct yourself, and they say, you know what? Yeah, I got respect for XYZ person. So reducing the I don't knows eventually lead to respect, like Malcolm X. Simple math, but not always done. Hey, I'm 45 years old within the human experience, and I can honestly say that I know some things, but I don't know everything. And there's some things that I don't know that I actually should know, but I'm willing to learn. And that's the difference.